This is Ashley, my daughter, and Egberto. We are here at Occupy Kingwood, representing the middle class. And she's in from Austin, Texas, University of Texas. And you know what? I could not be more honored to have her standing out here in the hot sun with me. So what do you have to say, my beautiful little daughter?
I'd say this is a great display of consistency.
This is our 33rd consecutive week. What we're doing out here is we're having what's known as an informational Occupy, where all the neighbors that come by, we actually talk to them. We don't try to push anything in their heads, but we just try to talk to them with valid and factual information. And most importantly, we tell them, don't listen to what we have to say. Listen to what we're saying and look it up. Listen to what the other side has to say and look it up. Let's really see who is working for the middle class. Let's really see who's working for the next generation. The generation like my daughter here and like this beautiful lady, Aisha, who's doing this filming right now. Thank you very much. Dr. Theis,
yeah.
Word of the week.
Well, I ran across a story in The Hill talking about the balanced budget and the fiscal cliff. I mean, first of all, there's no fiscal cliff. Secondly, Steve Latourette from Ohio, I believe it is, said that there is already a budget plan written between congressional leaders, business leaders, that cut $5 trillion, and that should actually be reduced increases in spending by $5 trillion over the next 10 years. It's already been agreed to, and it will be introduced the day after the election. This is exactly why we're out here on Saturday mornings, because our political leaders don't have the guts to tell us what they want to do. Instead, they reach these deals in secret. They're introducing them the day after election. We have no power to do anything about it. And quite frankly, it's disgusting that we've become that kind of oligarchy.
Thank you very much, Dr. Theis. Aisha, welcome to Occupy Kingwood. What's the word?
I'm happy to be here, happy to support Occupy Kingwood, and do what you can to make everything better. I'm here to support the middle class.
Thank you very much, Aisha.
Thank you.
Valerie, welcome back to Occupy Kingwood. We've missed you for a couple weeks.
I'm glad to be back. I've missed you guys a bunch.
Now, what's your word of the week?
My word of the week is vote for the middle class. But ideology aside, because it really doesn't matter if you're voting against your own interests. So my thing is vote and vote for the middle class.
My dear Parisian, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Stephanie, earlier today you had a statement.
Oh, well, it has to do with the whole Chick-fil-A controversy and the nature of freedom of speech and actually being able to speak freely in a free society. And what happened is, you know, Chick-fil-A for a long time actually has supported right-wing politics and been anti-gay, but now for some reason it's come to the public attention because of Kathy's remarks. And so there's this big move to protest Chick-fil-A, to run it out of business. And the right is reacting to that by saying that, you know, somehow we're abridging Kathy's free speech. You know, he said something offensive to a lot of people about gays and about the nature of family. And we are now countering that argument and protesting with our dollars. And somehow that's abridging his free speech. I don't get how that's an abridgment of free speech. What's happening here is actually an exchange of ideas that is good for the public. One side says one thing, the other side says something to counter that, and you have a very heated debate, and that's okay. Just because it's heated doesn't mean that it's somehow bad.
Kevin, interesting sign. What is the word of the day?
I guess it's love. The other day, I was out at the library voting, and I was walking in to vote. I saw this long line of people to my right side, and many of them had references to Jesus and to God on their hats and on their shirts. And I went in and voted, and I went home and I started to think about it, and I thought, well, what is it that Jesus and what does God say about this thing that we do, voting? And thought about it, and his greatest commandment is love one another as I have loved you. So then I thought, well, what does the government do? What does the government spend money on? As it turns out, Our government spends 54% of its budget on defense, military spending, war, killing. So how does the United States compare to the rest of the world? We spend something like $670 billion. And the next country in line is China, which spends about, I got that wrong, 687 billion. China spends about 114 billion. So this is a country who has a large group of people who believe that we should love one another as I have loved you. And we spend almost 700 billion, over half of our budget, on essentially killing. What's the cost of that? What does that? What could we do otherwise? What are the opportunity costs of spending that much money on war, defense, killing? So we've been at war for the last 10 years in Afghanistan and Iraq. What have we spent? $1.4 trillion. What are the additional costs? 6,400 U.S. service members killed. 300,000 with traumatic brain injuries and PTSD. Hundreds of thousands of people at home without any health care. We rank 25th in the world in infant mortality. 37th in the world in overall health care. 17th in the world in terms of life expectancy. We have the highest rate of childhood poverty in the industrialized world. So one possibility is, instead of spending $1.4 trillion on war, we could have had universal health care for the last 10 years. That seems kind of loving. That seems like something that invokes loving thy neighbor. Now let's talk about the 2012-2013 budget. Iran and Iraq wars, for 1 year, we will likely spend $121 billion. What could we get for that $121 billion? 1.8 million U.S. elementary school teachers. 15.5 million people with low-income health care. These are ORs. We can't get all of this.
Right.
We could choose one of these or a mix of them.
Or a mix of them.
15.4 million scholarships for university students. That sounds more loving and more in line with the greatest commandment, love thy neighbor as thyself. The last point is, the commandment is to love everyone and not just some people. So, on one hand, we have a choice between war, hate, killing, or on the other hand, we have the choice of loving everyone, taking care of our neighbors, taking care of the environment, taking care of each other's health. Sure, all those things start with individual responsibility. We need to take care of our individual health. We need to take care of the environment around us. We need to take care of our families as best we can. But as a group of people, we want to take care of each other. And to me, that's the choice we make when we go to the polls. Love one another or not.
Thank you very much. Very enlightening, Kevin.